Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, CV, with another reaction video. And this one is going to be on Shannon Sharpe, who's lately, Shannon Sharpe's been all over the place, man. And not only he's just a big personality on TV today. He's doing TV and YouTube, but, you know, and social media. And a lot of people, and especially young people, they just know Shannon from, you know, social media and what's going on today. But I did watch Shannon when he played with Baltimore. So that was kind of towards the, you know, the end of his career, kind of. And so I didn't watch him when he played with Denver, with John Elway. I don't know what year that was, but I don't even think I was in America at that time. But I did watch a couple of games where he played for the Ravens. So, yeah, Shannon Sharpe is just not an entertainer or a, you know, guy with the big voice talking about skip. No. This man was a great football player, Hall of Famer, won 3 rings, one with Baltimore Ravens in that crazy defense with Ray Lewis, and then 2, I think, with John Elway, Terrell Davis with the Mile High Salute. Wait, was he playing? No, I think I watched that. I think I did watch him that year with Denver. I don't know if he was still there. I'm talking about when Terrell Davis was there. Was he there? I can't remember. But anyways, man, let's watch this video on Shannon Sharpe, and the name of the video is "How Good Was Shannon Sharpe Actually?" Let's get into it, man. Let's get this to 100 likes if we can. Appreciate you guys, man. Let's do it. Dad, you can't do that. You can't do that.
For all you youngsters who think Shannon Sharpe is just a media personality, oh boy, are you wrong. Unlike his talk show counterparts, Unk could ball. Not only is he a Hall of Famer with 3 Super Bowl rings, but he revolutionized the tight end position and forever changed the way.
Hey, that Unk really stuck, huh? Unk really stuck with Shannon, man. That's kind of cool, though.
Super Bowl rings, but he revolutionized the tight end position and forever changed the way an NFL offense operates. As one of the biggest personalities in NFL history, Shannon loved to talk on and off the field, but he always backed it up. So, how good was he actually? And where does he rank among the greatest tight ends of all time? Sharpe was born into a poor family in Glenville, Georgia. His parents split when he was just 3 months old, immediately giving him adversity to overcome. Basic needs were not guaranteed in the rural South, and neither was his family's safety. In fact, during his Hall of Fame speech, Sharpe explained that we were so poor, a robber once broke into our house, and we ended up robbing the robber. To make matters,
Shannon probably looked at the robber and said, "Hey, Robert, you can't do that." Yeah, I'm sorry. I just love saying that. You can't do that. Hey, cat, you can't do that. Yeah, but Shannon always talks about his grandmother, his brother, grandfather, man, and the lessons that he learned from his grandfather and grandmother, man, it's crazy, because what I actually love when I watched him with Skip when they were on the show together, he always quotes the grandmother and the grandfather, man. So yeah, I love that, man. And also his brother Sterling, who actually played football. Sterling was no joke either. Let me just tell you that, because I do remember watching Sterling playing for Green Bay Packers. So.
Worse, Sharpe's father passed away from cancer when he was in his early teens, leaving him without a father figure for a large part of his youth. Luckily for Shannon and his siblings, his grandmother, Mary Porter, stepped in to raise them. Porter also helped take care of several other extended family members.
See, my grandmother and grandfather, they raised me, and I hung on everything they say, but they didn't know it.
So everyone lived packed into one small home, barely fit for a family of 4.
You know, there was no paneling in the house. There was no insulation in the house. It was basically cinder block. It was really cold in the winter.
But while the Sharpe family didn't have much, what Shannon and his older brother Sterling did have was sports. That was going to be their way out. At Glenville High School, Sterling was a superstar athlete playing basketball, football, and running track. He became a high-profile football recruit that took his talents to the University of South Carolina. Shannon had hoped to follow in his brother's footsteps, and as an athlete, he did. He was also a star multi-sport athlete, but in the classroom, he struggled. So his only offer came from the local Division II school, Savannah State. Sharpe would continue to play multiple sports at Savannah, playing basketball, competing in track and field events, and suiting up for the Tigers football team. But it was quickly obvious that the gridiron was where Sharpe was at his best. Shannon set many records while at Savannah State, totaling a whopping 192 receptions for 3,744 receiving yards and 40 touchdowns over 4 years. And while Shannon was dominating the inferior D2 competition, competition, his brother Sterling was doing the same at USC, then in the NFL. At South
Sterling
Carolina,
was-
Sterling set nearly every receiving record, which led to him being drafted 7th overall by the Green Bay Packers in 1988. Then, by just his second year in the NFL, he was already a first-team All-Pro. But despite his brother's instant
Injury,
success, nobody was paying close attention to Shannon.
I'm the best, Sterling. I'm better than you are. You know it.
The NFL was far different 30-plus years ago, and tight ends were expected to be closer physically to offensive tackles than wide receivers. While Sterling was the ideal NFL wide receiver, Shannon was just a tweener with good stats. The future NFL legend was written off and seen as a project rather than a weapon. Little did they know, Shannon would go on to change the course of the tight end position forever. Because after a grueling 6 rounds undrafted in the 1990 NFL Draft,
That
Wow.
round one was off the table, but I thought I was good enough to be a second or third round draft pick.
the Denver Broncos took a shot on the undersized tight end.
And I picked up the phone and it was the Broncos. And they said, we selected you in the 7th round.
But like other teams' evaluations of Sharpe, they didn't
7th
believe
round? I
he
didn't know
was
that.
a tight end. Instead, they committed to playing him as a wide receiver. Denver failed. Over 1990 and 1991, Sharpe's first 2 NFL seasons, he totaled just 29 receptions for 421 receiving yards. Legendary QB John Elway was leading the offense, but Sharpe struggled to make an impact. And to make things worse, this was all happening while Shannon lived in the shadow of his brother Sterling.
Number 84, just like his brother, man. You got to love it.
While Shannon was trying to get his footing in the NFL, Sterling continued racking up All-Pro and Pro Bowl honors for the Green Bay Packers. So Shannon struggling to make an impact only created a sense that one brother was meant for NFL greatness and the other was simply a role player. In 1992, Sharpe finally broke through expectations and never looked back. Broncos head coach Dan Reeves decided to play Sharpe where he belonged, at tight end, and the results were immediate. Sharpe exploded for 53 receptions and 640 receiving yards, which led all tight ends in the league. The Broncos had found
Damn, that's it. 600? And it led. Like today, tight end is getting 1,000. It's crazy. Game has changed, though.
something special. Of course,
And they
the
throw
other
more,
NFL
too.
teams had talented tight ends that were putting up numbers.
Jay
but
Novacek.
Denver had only scratched the surface of what Sharpe could become. In the
I used to watch Dallas all the time, so I know that was Jay Novacek right there, number 84, man. Just saying.
1993 season, Sharpe reached new heights again. And as his relationship with John Elway grew, so did his numbers. The Broncos tight end had a whopping 81 receptions for 995 yards and 9 touchdowns. For the first
okay.
time, Sharpe was named first team All-Pro. That's a special honor for any player, but it also
Hey, you guys remember when that blue-orange jersey came out? Denver? That was like a big thing when it came out, man. People was trying to rock it with like, all kinds of ways, man. When, back at 92, 93 with the baggy jeans, jersey and baggy jeans was in at that time.
marked the first and only time that Shannon was named to the squad during the same year as his brother Sterling. Shannon was no longer living in his brother's shadow. Instead, they were shining together. Sadly, the Sharpe brothers didn't get a chance to complete that feat again after Sterling suffered a career-ending neck injury that forced him into early retirement. Sterling's career was robbed from him after just 7 NFL seasons. It was a gridiron tragedy that Sterling, who looked destined to be a Hall of Famer, could not keep playing in the NFL alongside Shannon.
But I played football because my brother played. And man, it broke my heart when he said it was over.
As heartbreaking as Sterling's injury was, it only added further motivation for Shannon. The Broncos tight end was dedicated to representing the Sharpe name, and he would eventually get the chance to honor his brother's playing career with the ultimate tribute. However, Sharpe was still relentless in pursuing his ultimate goal of winning a Super Bowl title. By 1995, the Broncos had built a team that could match up with anyone offensively, and it was time to take advantage of that. But it didn't come easy. The Broncos struggled in the 95 season under new head coach Mike Shanahan, failing to make the playoffs at 8-8. Frustratingly for Sharpe, the Denver defense let them down on several occasions, while the offense finished third in the NFL in total yards. Even worse, Sharpe missed significant time due to an injury for the first time in his career. The Broncos tight end only started 12 games, but still scored 4 touchdowns and totaled 756 receiving yards.
I mean, those are good numbers for 12 games, though. 756? It's not bad. And plus, like I said, like at that time, man, they didn't throw the ball as much. Like, you really had to have a good quarterback to be throwing the ball. Today, you can have a bench quarterback, and he'll throw 30 times a game. Like, you had running back, and a lot of teams, like, who was the running back for Dallas? Emmitt Smith. You know, guys like that, like you had weapons, but they ran the ball a lot. So that's why you don't see like big, huge numbers when it comes to receivers and tight ends, because they didn't throw it as often back then. You're talking about you got like Barry Sanders. You gonna throw the ball? You got Emmitt Smith. You gonna throw the ball? You got Jerome the Bus. Like, you're gonna run it. So.
The second most of any NFL tight end that season.
Ooh, hold on. That list.
756 receiving yards. The second most.
Hey, shout out to Ben Coates, man. Shout out to Ben Coates. That's New England Patriots. Ben Coates was killing it in 95. This is when I just really started watching football, like really getting into football was around this time. Yep, there's Jay Novacek, man, from Dallas. Yeah, Jay Novacek was a beast too, man.
Most of any NFL tight end that season.
But he played 13 games.
While injured, only further proved Sharpe's talent and toughness. And he was rewarded for playing through injury, as he was named to the Pro Bowl for the third consecutive year. In '96, the Broncos began to realize their potential, and in his second year as head coach, Shanahan leaned on Sharpe as the Broncos started the campaign with an astonishing 12-1 record. They went on to outscore opponents 391 to 275 that season, finishing the year 13-3. With Sharpe being the key reason for their offensive success. In 15 games, Sharpe brought down 80 receptions for 1,062 yards and a career-high 10 touchdowns. And as he was torching opponent defenses, he would let them know about it. The New England Patriots found that out the hard way. In the middle of a dominant 34-8 win, Sharpe pulled out a red telephone on the sideline and infamously shouted,
"President, we need a National Guard. We need as many men as you can spare because we are killing the Patriots."
Unfortunately,
Shannon, you know you can't do that. You know you can't do that.
trash talking can come back to haunt you, and for Sharpe that season it did. While the Patriots would go on to play in the Super Bowl, Denver suffered a shocking 30-27 upset to the Jacksonville Jaguars in their first playoff game.
Hey, that was Smith
and the Broncos
right there.
were back to square one. Over that
Smith and
96
Barnell.
season, they had become the team to beat in the NFL, and getting beat in the first round of the playoffs wasn't part of the script. Considering that John Elway was now 37, time was running out. But after being humbled, the Broncos had a chip on their shoulder entering the '97 season. Denver won their opening 6 games, with Sharpe bringing down 18 receptions for 266 yards and a touchdown. Not a bad start, but the best was yet to come for the Broncos tight end. Over the next 10 games, Sharpe crossed the 80-yard mark 5 times. While he only reached the end zone 3 times in that regular season, his 1,107 receiving yards was truly incredible. In fact, no other tight end that season even came close to matching him. Sharpe beat the next closest competitor by 320 yards.
That's a lot.
Of pure impact, his 15.3 yards per catch that season was vital to the Broncos.
Hey, you gotta understand, 50.5 catches, 15 yards per catch. That's receiver like, not tight end like. Even today, that's like if you get that today as a tight end, that's still actually pretty good because that's what elite wide receiver would average, you know? That's an automatic first down.
Pure impact, his 15.3 yards per catch that
15.3,
season was
sorry.
vital to the Broncos' success. But Sharpe's goal wasn't to lead the NFL in various stats. It was to hoist the Lombardi Trophy. To do that, they would need to exercise.
Like I said, this when Terrell Davis came in with the salute. That man had 2,000. Oh, man. This is when I really started to pay attention to Denver, man, when TD was on that team, man.
The demons of the '96 season by beating the Jags in another postseason opener. And they did more than just beat them. Denver dominated Jacksonville in their postseason rematch, winning 42-17. Then, in the AFC Championship game, they played against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Sharpe made multiple key receptions down the stretch in a close 24-21 win.
Cordell Stewart.
After 8 seasons, Sharpe was playing for a ring. Years and years of struggle, success, and falling just short had culminated in the Super Bowl 32 bout against the Green Bay Packers. The Packers were the defending champs and the favorite, but the Broncos got hot early, jumping out to a 17-7 lead. Sharpe didn't get in the end zone, but Elway.
That's when Elway did the helicopter
always looked to him as his security blanket, targeting Sharpe a team-high 5 times. In a Super Bowl classic, Denver and Green Bay traded blows before the game was tied at 24-all.
Terrell Davis won that game.
Broken with
Look at
little
him.
time remaining as Terrell Davis reached the end zone for the Broncos at the 1:45 mark in the fourth quarter. Denver's defense held up on the following drive, and the Lombardi Trophy swapped hands to the Broncos. The narratives around John Elway finally reaching the top of the mountain dominated the national media, but Sharpe's journey deserved just as much press. A 7th-round pick out of Savannah State was now a Super Bowl champion, and Sharpe would finally get to honor the cut-short career of his brother Sterling. Shannon gifted his Super Bowl ring to Sterling.
And we're doing an interview with NBC, and we're sitting down talking. I was like, yeah, I'm going to give him the Super Bowl ring.
Some things are bigger than personal.
And that's dope, man, because these two are very, very close, man. So, but yeah, I think those 2 Super Bowls, the names you would hear is Elway because he was on his way out. He finally got it. And then it's like, will he come back for another one? And then Terrell Davis. What Terrell Davis was doing for that team is crazy, man. And Terrell Davis don't get a lot of love and respect, too. So I just want to put that out there.
Success, and the Sharpe brothers clearly understand that. But what do you do after you accomplish your ultimate goal of winning a Super Bowl?
Do it again.
Do it again. And you do it in an even more dominant fashion.
Yep.
After an impressive 12-4 regular season campaign in their first Super Bowl season, the Broncos followed that up with a 14-2 run in 1998. Denver dismantled their opponents, initially starting on a 13-0 streak to open the season. So much for the Super Bowl slump, huh? The stats were wild. Sharpe and the Broncos scored 31.3 points per game, establishing themselves as one of the most dynamic offenses in NFL history. In 18 total games played, Denver won 15 games by 2 scores or more, including all 3 of their playoff games. Sharpe didn't cross the 1,000-yard receiving mark, but he did reach 10 touchdowns for the 2nd time in his career. For a 3rd consecutive year, Sharpe was named a first-team All-Pro and a Pro Bowler. It was a storybook ending for Elway, who retired at the end of the season.
I just can't compete at the level in this game that I want to compete at anymore.
For Sharpe, that was a huge deal. The only quarterback he had ever really known in the NFL was gone, and now the Broncos had to start again with someone new.
Was it greasy?
And unfortunately for Sharpe, it just didn't pan out. He had multiple injuries in 1999, limiting him to just 5 total appearances. By the following offseason in 2000, the 4-time All-Pro was a free agent, and he was going to take his talents elsewhere. After 10 seasons in Denver, Sharpe joined a talented Baltimore Ravens team for the 2000 season. The Ravens boasted 2 legendary running backs in Jamal Lewis and Priest Holmes, but sorely lacked a downfield threat. So that's where Sharpe came in. Baltimore prided itself on its defense, but Sharpe took them to a new level on offense, and the numbers prove it. The veteran tight end led the entire squad in receiving yards and receiving touchdowns, with 810 yards and 5 scores. The Ravens went from an 8-8 team in 1999 to a powerhouse that finished 12-4 in 2000. Somehow, that defense didn't win the AFC Central due to the Tennessee Titans going 13-3, but Sharpe and the Ravens would have the last laugh. To open the postseason, Baltimore dismantled Sharpe's former team. The Ravens beat the Broncos 21-3 as Sharpe exploded for 3 catches, 73 yards, and a touchdown. Now, Sharpe and Baltimore got their shot at the Titans in the divisional round. After a fairly close game to start, the Ravens broke the contest open in the fourth quarter to win 24-10. Sharpe only made 1 catch, but it was a monstrous 53-yard grab that was a huge momentum shifter for Baltimore. And that huge catch against the Titans was a foreshadowing of the AFC Championship clash with the Oakland Raiders. In a 16-3 victory, Sharpe made the most famous play of his career. First, catching a pass at the Ravens' 12-yard line, Sharpe ran all the way down the field for a 96-yard touchdown. It was the only touchdown in Baltimore's victory and the longest score of Sharpe's career. After 3 exceptional games, Sharpe had once again reached the Super Bowl. Sharpe made just 1 catch for 5 yards in the big game, but Baltimore defeated the New York Giants 34-7 for the team's first ever Super Bowl victory. Sharpe would spend 1 more season with the Ravens, going for 811 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns in 2001.
Not bad.
He was named to his final Pro Bowl that season, marking his 8th appearance. The Ravens would not replicate their previous postseason success, losing in the divisional round.
And as painful as it is to say this, they have a better football team than what we got.
But Sharpe had made his mark in Charm City and had a Super Bowl ring to show for it. To wrap up his career, Shannon returned to Denver. To no one's surprise, he was still a massive problem for opposing defenses. Over 28 games in his final 2 years, Sharpe racked up 1,456 receiving yards and 11 touchdowns. Tight ends today are some of the most game-breaking weapons in the NFL, combining speed and size to create the ultimate mismatch. They have Shannon Sharpe to thank for that, being arguably the most influential player to ever play that position. To this day, Sharpe is still top 5 among tight ends in receptions and receiving yards. He is, without a doubt, a top 5 tight end in NFL history. His legacy was cemented in 2011 when he was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. His presence on television and social media has made Sharpe more famous than ever. Even people who don't watch football know who he is, thanks to memes and clips of Sharpe doing his thing. But it's important to remember why he was put on TV in the first place. It's because he always has had the game to go along with the gab. For more of the best NFL content, be sure to like and subscribe. Also, check out...
Did he just say because Shannon Sharpe had the game to go with the gap? Like the gap tooth? Is that what he's saying? You can't do that to Shannon. You can't do that. Listen, man, like I said, I started watching Shannon towards the end of his career, and I've always thought he was a good player. But yeah, it's just like when his buddy Skip, said something way disrespectful to Shannon when he said, "Oh, Tom Brady got more rings than you." Bro, I knew right there that Shannon was and Skip was done and he was leaving. He was like, I'm a effing Hall of Famer, and he said, "You put your friends down to make Tom Brady look good." But yeah, man, Shannon is just, he's good on TV. He's entertaining, very engaging. People love him. And for people to call you Unc, especially in our community, that's a trophy in and itself to get when somebody especially in our community to give you the title Unc or Auntie. Oh, that's a big deal, man. Like if you're from our community, you'll definitely understand. But to have everybody just call him Unc, even strangers, and you're known as Unc, it's the ultimate respect. So yeah, man, put some respect on Unc's name, man. Okay, you can't do that. You can't do that. Anyways, man, if there's some other NFL players you think I should react to, I definitely want to watch some stuff on Michael Vick, man. I was a huge fan of Michael Vick. Like, I want to go back and look at his career, even though I did watch him. And hopefully my audience that don't watch football or don't know who Michael Vick is, maybe you'll watch it with me because Michael Vick was a problem. So maybe we could do Michael Vick next, and then we'll do some other players that I didn't get to watch, like Reggie White or Lawrence Taylor. I watched a little bit of Rod Woodson, but why not get into Rod Woodson? So those type of players, man. So yeah, if there's other players you think I should watch, especially the old school, Walter Payton, those guys, put in the comment section below, man. Keep your head up. Love you guys as always. Till next time. Peace. You can't do that. Shannon, you know you can't do that.